Yemen and dealing with Saudi Arabia, and we are complicit, explicitly so, involvement with the Saudis, and they are no angels. They are one of the worst offenders on civil liberties, and here we are providing huge amounts of weaponry for them. So we are morally and politically responsible for a lot of what's going on. Saudi Arabia would not be doing what they're doing if they did not have the full support of this administration, and of course full support, bipartisan, generally speaking, for many, many decades. And it's time we call them out. For most Americans that maybe just know a little bit about it, the Saudis are fighting with Yemen. That's a border dispute and not much else. But we're very much involved. We're involved financially. We provide the weapons. I mean, the weapons are flowing in there. It's estimated that probably in this past year, the Saudis have gotten $50 billion worth. They just had a recent vote in the Senate for over $1 billion of more weapons going there. So we're very much involved. We provide intelligence gathering for them, and it's amazing that the Houthis, the locals who they're fighting and trying to hold off on the Saudis, they're not doing badly. They haven't been pushed out to the sea. So this to me is very amazing that they can handle this. But we have a moral responsibility for this. There is no way you can justify under our constitutional that we should do this. Most people will say, well, it's not a war. Why do we have to declare a war? In spite of all that, the Saudis have not had a military victory there, and it's shifting around. But then again, I understand, a lot of their allies have sort of deserted them. And I read where their only close allies that's hanging in there is Al-Qaeda.
I wonder how Americans would feel if they knew that our weapons are going to the Saudis to slaughter the Yemenis, and the Saudis' only ally there is Al-Qaeda. It's amazing. But, you touched on it. Why are the Houthis doing fairly well? By the way, look, the rain is coming.
Yes, very, very good. We'll survive the rain.
But why are the Houthis doing very well? And you've said this many times, they are fighting for their homeland. They are not mercenaries. The Saudis are bringing in African mercenaries. They don't have an army to speak of. But this really gives you a window on what fuels the Washington war machine, what fuels the neocon think tanks. All of this Saudi money buying all of these weapons. And I think we saw from Hillary's emails that they gave her between $10 and $20 million for their foundation. The Saudis throw money around and they buy people's silence, and that's why not many people are talking about this. Well, there's clearly one party that's defending its country, and clearly another that's the aggressor. The idea that you can't defend yourself, would that be U.S. policy if we were being attacked? Imagine if the Chinese started invading us through Mexico and Russia said we encourage all sides to stop fighting. How would we listen to that?
And they're saying that the people trying to preserve their homeland should live within the Constitution. Of course, the person they're trying to defend and put back in was elected in a corrupt election. There were no opponents. And he won. Believe it or not. Of course, right now he's in Saudi Arabia because he's on the run, and they're not doing well. So I think this is very, very significant. But I think when you're fighting for your homeland, there's a special thing that
Islam. Talk about how U.S. foreign policy fuels radical Islam. Imagine if you are an Arab and you're looking at what's happening in Yemen. You're looking at civilians being slaughtered with U.S. weapons, U.S. provided weapons. And how are you going to feel? You're going to have a sense that you want to have revenge. So our policy is directly threatening us and making terrorist attacks on America more likely.
And it makes a mockery out of this whole notion that we're spreading American exceptionalism and that we care about civil liberties, like our statement. We'll check this out and find out what's going on. And here, Saudi Arabia, it might be one of the worst, if not the worst. I mean, they do 50 beheadings a year, and some are for they're for religious crimes. It's not even for violent crimes.